is Left at the Door, a podcast and vlog where we, a group of friends, get together to talk about the things that we left at the door in order to love, grow, succeed, or survive. And sometimes we bring on guests and they get to tell their stories to the things that they left at the door, but this time it's core four, and the four of us are talking about routines, morning routines in particular. A lot of times people say morning routines are what start like the course of your day. It like really changes that trajectory of how your day is going to go. So Sarah, you talk about your routine and you're pretty set in that. Mm-hmm. Like I think ever since I've known you, you've had like the same routine. Talk about yours.
I love a good morning routine. I have to start out my day with the same things every day. So usually I wake up and sit with my dog and cats for a while. Wrigley loves to pounce on me as if he were a little tiny kitten that he thinks he is, but he's actually a 70-pound dog. Pounce on my bladder for a little bit.
What a way to wake up.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And Salem, my kitten, will just sit there and like kind of cuddle. It's really hard to get out of bed. But then
do you have to take him out as soon as you wake up?
It depends.
Or as soon as he wakes up?
It depends on what time I wake up, because I don't wake up at the same time every day. If I'm not working, depending on the day that I have planned, I'll wake up at 10 or 6 or, like it just depends on what I planned. But if it's like a day that I'm working or I just have like a day full of homework, then I usually wake up at like 6 or 7.
Gross.
And I know, it's terrible.
So early.
I will take him out right away because I know I'm not getting ready to go anywhere. But if I'm going somewhere, I try to take him out as close as possible to when I leave, just because
my dogs are the minute you have to be quiet as a church mouse. The minute that they hear movement in the house, it is go time, get up, and they have to go to the bathroom. Like that's why I always tell people, like you guys have all like helped to take care of them at some point. I'm like, the minute they are up, they have to go out immediately, or it is just not good. So when people are like, oh, I came over and I like sat with them for a little bit, I'm like, and I don't know why they peed on the floor.
That's why.
Well, that's why. The minute they're awake, they got to go outside.
Well, Wrigley thinks when I wake up, the minute he sees me move, I live in a studio apartment, so you can see everything from everywhere. But the minute he sees me move, he'll like jump up on my bed and
he's ready for attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. But if I start to like shuffle around and start getting ready and stuff, and you realize I'm not going out for a while, then he'll like go back to sleep. But if it's like I get up and walk to the door, that he's like, oh, it's time to pee, it's time to poo, it's time to go. So yeah, it just depends on what it is. But anyway, from there I usually empty thy bladder and start making a cup of coffee, turn all the lights on, start a podcast. I'm really big on podcasts. And
do you listen to like the same one every time, or do you change it up?
I change it up.
This one?
I do sometimes, yes. Because, we got to critique ourselves. I more so listen to this while I'm working or something in the background. That way I can, like, mentally critique. And, like, usually in the morning, you're foggy and stuff. But, yeah. So I like to listen to this when I can have an active mind. But I also like to watch ourselves on YouTube because that's always fun. So I'd like to put that one on the TV.
But so you can see it big.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I want to see my face on the TV. I want to relive my best moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like Good Morning America, only it's us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like to listen to all different kinds of podcasts, mainly influencers, just because I'm big into YouTube. But some of my favorites right now are Made for This, Jenny Allen, Happy and Healthy with Janine Amapola. Love Gals on the Go. I love What We Said is my all-time favorite. It is so funny. Every Tuesday, that is my Tuesday podcast. I listen to it. It's the first thing. I love it.
What's it called?
What We Said. It's just two best friends, and they read embarrassing stories, like all sorts of stories. Dating app horror stories, family in-law horror stories. It's so great. I love it. But yeah, I'll usually do that, make a cup of coffee, I pour over cold brew, the whole thing, and I'll turn on some worship music after that and get in the Word, do a devotional. Sometimes I'll worship, pray, do that whole thing, and then if I'm getting ready, do my makeup and stuff. But other than that, I just clock in and start my day. So that's kind of my morning routine, and I am a grouch if I don't do those things. So I have
one of those pieces is missing.
Yeah. Mainly the prayer and worship and the devotional. But if I don't have my cup of coffee, there's no chance that I am waking up. And if I don't, spend time with my pets, it's kind of a sad day. So I just have to have all those bits and pieces.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Andrea,
Oh.
I feel like you are the next person that has like the strongest morning routine. Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
So when I get up, of course, you got to go to the bathroom and take care of yourself and
Empty
whatnot.
thy bladder.
You know, empty thy bladder, you know. Go out the door, see who's awake. Obviously, the dogs are because they're waiting for me to feed them. Feed the boys. And then upstairs and pot of water is boiling for that tea. Oh, my gosh.
Okay,
Your
so
hot
you
liquor.
feed your dogs first and then they go outside?
Yep. I do.
So interesting to me.
Steven.
They're younger than your dogs, though.
Yeah, maybe that's because I have a nursing home, geriatric
first.
care.
He's the opposite. Steven takes them out first and then feed them. But I do the opposite of what I feed them first and let them outside, and they can be out there for how long until one of them is ready to come back in. Usually there's a tap on the door.
I simultaneously, because Wrigley's a monster for the wet cat food. So
Yeah.
I have to.
Yes.
It's a routine every single time. If I don't have something to distract him, I have to take him out at the same time that the cats are eating. So I have to put Salem in the bathroom with her wet cat food because she'll eat papayas if I don't. So I lock her in the bathroom, give Papaya her food, and we go outside. And then at night when I do it, he gets a bone. That way he's not outside.
That is
He
best too.
Yeah.
The minute I mean,
Yeah.
and they sit there and they're so upset because I'm like, well, you need to eat faster. Like he may be 900 years old, but the minute he hears that spoon scraping, that
yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
slut for wet cat food.
Yeah.
He would eat that over his own food.
But yeah, that's all he wants. That's all he cares about.
He's food motivated.
Very much.
But no, I take care of the dogs, start getting that water boiling, ready for that tea. And then anything after that, I just have to have my tea.
So are you doing things while
Yes.
you're doing the tea, or do you want to like sit quietly, be left alone?
I'm actually doing because I can't settle.
Yeah.
And I got to keep going in the house. So while I'm getting there, the tea is making. Once the tea is done and it's in my cup and ready, everything has to wait. Like, that's my time. I need to sit down, either sit down or stand. But I have to have that tea. And I'm just, like, observing the moment. Like, it's just, yeah. It's peace. It's my thing. Like, people don't understand. It's like, that's what speaks to me. That's what makes my day. That's my self-care. Like, you don't want the other side of me to come out like She-Hulk.
So
'Cause
is Steven and Talia awake?
Talia might, it depends. On weekends, Talia's probably awake, Steven is not. On weekdays, Steven is awake, and so is Talia. So they know that they're for themselves, and they gotta wait until I come down, do my thing, and then everybody get together and be like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
See,
So-
I get the tea thing because I think there's something therapeutic about fixing a cup of coffee or fixing a cup of tea in the morning. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a comfort thing, but like I mainly, for the most part, I make myself a cup of coffee, yes, to wake up, but more so because it just brings me joy.
Right.
And that it brings me comfort. I love it.
There's something about that moment, you know, it's like a reflection because it's like everything around you stops and you're taking care of you. So, and that's why it's not more about the tea, it's just more like I need to have that time for me, to take care of me for just, even if it's 2 minutes or whatever it is. So then I start my day, and my day can be chaos. You never know what's going to happen between trying to get the kid to school, coming back home, you know, I work with Cassie, if anybody doesn't know that. And then I also have my own business, so it's a little between.
No 2 days are the same.
Yeah, most of my days are the same. Sometimes they're not.
I assumed that they wouldn't be. That no 2 days.
There
I
is no
assumed
2 days are the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm out and about doing, and I like it that I don't like to have where things are so constantly constant because it gets boring for me. My house cannot be at constant. I have to make changes. If it's like the season, I have to change my curtain. I have to rearrange my furniture. Steven, he lived with it for so long. He understands. He knows. He never asks questions because when we first started dating, it's like, why did you do it? Now it's like, oh,
Well,
okay,
it's just
that makes
Andrea
sense.
up
Just
to her
makes
shenanigans.
sense. Yeah, just And I'm always...
It's like the feng shui of it all, that the energy needs to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
Whatever mood I'm in, I might decide I want to paint my house. I want to rearrange the kitchen. There's always got to be something happening. So it's not like a settle down. I'm always like, gotta go.
Well, that was part of the reason I quit my job at the school and came back to my job at Cassie's, was because I just got tired of doing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
Going to the same place every day, just clocking in and doing the same exact thing every day. I loved that job so much, but part of the reason why I left it was because I missed my freedom, and I missed the fact that I was always doing something different. One day you have a photo shoot, the next you're sitting at home working on fun stuff for giggles, and then the next you're working on something serious for a real estate client. It's different. And some days I have the freedom to go and do my own business, and that's what I do for the day.
And I like it too, because it makes for a great story to tell that day. Like, what do you do today? And it's like, oh, I never thought I would have do this, but here I did it. And it's just different things, and every day is, for me, it's like a new day for me, because I never know. I could be, whether it's my business, I could be looking up something, learning about my business that I wasn't gonna know about yesterday or maybe tomorrow, but I found out today what it is. So it's fun for me. I just, it gotta keep flowing and gotta keep going, and that's me. That's my day.
We don't do well with monotony.
Yeah, no.
We leave monotony at the door.
Yeah, we do.
All right, what about you, Jess?
Yeah.
I am going to have very little to say on this episode. I have less. I don't have a great morning routine. I don't wake up at the same time every day. I wake up and empty thy bladder like everyone else on the planet. I open my eyes. I go to the bathroom. And then it depends. Like, I'm usually up between 9 and 10. The kids are already at school. Dustin is already at work. So whatever I'm doing has nothing to do with anybody else. And it depends on how I'm feeling.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It allows you to focus on your self-care more. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are days that as soon as I get up, I know today is a day I'm going to be in bed. And there are days that I wake up and I'm like, okay, I don't feel like shit. Now what can I accomplish with this energy that I have? I have a nighttime routine, but I don't have a morning routine.
What's your nighttime routine?
Yeah, what does that entail then?
My nighttime routine is we put the kids to bed at 7-ish, and that's a whole thing. They have their own routine, and we have our last snack, which is what Jimmy calls everything he needs to eat after dinner. He has his last snack. We have a dance party.
Which is so fun.
Yes, we have a dance party. Sarah got to witness that.
Yes.
And I told her,
Foils in my hair, and Jimmy and Charlie were just
the
dancing
whole
away.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So dance party, brush teeth. Then I put Charlie to bed. Dad puts Jimmy to bed. And then Dustin and I shut ourselves in our room, and we'll watch like a couple of episodes of whatever show. Sometimes we'll have a little grown-up snack. And we do our, what was your favorite thing that happened today? And he fills me out on whatever news in the world is going on that I don't read or listen to or whatever. We watch our shows. And then I take my meds, drink my water, play on my phone a little bit, and then we go to sleep. And see, that's another thing too. Like, those are things I do. But then, I write in my gratitude journal at night. And I got this really cool planner that I was showing you guys. And instead of using it like a planner, I decided to use it as a journal. So every day, on the days where I would be recording like what I do, what I have on my schedule, at night I write what happened that day in 3 sentences.
My grandma Mem kept journals, and I mean, she just has stacks and stacks every single day. That was her nighttime routine. Like, she would write like during different times of the day, but most of the time it was not a morning routine for her. Hers was a nighttime routine that was like mattered most to her, of like gratitude.
Yeah.
But then just like wrapping your mind around like everything that happened that day.
So there's 2 in this journal. It's not a journal. In this planner, it's like 2 pages wide open, and one is for you to write your schedule on it, and then when you turn the page, it looks like a calendar, but it's what you're supposed to write, what you're grateful for every day. So on the planner pages, I'm writing, we watched football today, the Colts lost, whatever, blah blah blah. And then on the thankful page, I'm writing something I'm grateful for specifically about my family. because what you focus on grows. So that's what I want. And Dustin and I have had so many moments in the last week where we're like, God, isn't it cool that we still like to be around each other? Because things have just been kind of shitty, and we've gotten short with each other, and it's been, tense. And then he'll just look at me and be like, I still like you.
Well, and you guys
thank
don't,
God.
you guys are, throughout COVID, you guys probably have been the family that I'm around the most that leaves the least.
We are up each other's butts the most.
Very, very much homebodies
we
for
both work
this.
from home. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the other thing too, is that we're both there all the time. Mm-hmm. And Dustin's very flexible with his job, so we don't have set morning routines. It's our evenings. Mm-hmm. We get to be together. We know what's going to happen, but during the day, just because of my health, we never know. I never know what the day's going to bring. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that evening routine is something that I've started really to make sure I'm doing, is to write in the journal. And
well, it makes a difference too if you have a shitty sleep schedule. Then you don't. That also makes an impact on your morning as to how am I going to feel in the morning? What time am I going to wake up if I didn't fall asleep till whatever time or whatever that looks like? Yeah.
And then insomnia has gotten really bad in the last couple of months, and my hormones affected a lot. I've noticed. And I'll do the responsible thing, and I try to go to sleep. I'll be like, God, I'm just so tired, and it's 8:00, so I'll go to sleep, and then at 9:30 I'm awake, and now I've had a nap. So now
your body's like, I'm actually refreshed.
We have all this energy. You know what we should do? We should think about all this. What you should do is plan out how you're going to clean Charlie's room. She can't do anything about it because she's in there sleeping. But you should make plans.
Just think about all of it, all the thoughts, and don't let it.
My stupid brain. Mm-hmm. So when you were like, let's talk about morning routines, I was like, I don't really know. I want to hear you guys'.
I think we should say more like
routine.
Yeah, just routine in
Call
general.
me crazy, but I live for my morning and my night routine. Mm-hmm. I think in a world of uncertainty, those have brought comfort to my life. Just having those routines that I know both I start my day with and I end my day with calms me.
Before my health was such a problem for me, aka before I had kids, I read this book called The Miracle Morning. And it is about the habits of successful people. And it's the 6 things you do in the morning that will change your day, and that are the difference between, if even one of them is not something you do in the morning, it decreases your chances of having a successful day. So before I had kids, I was doing that, and I got to tell you, it does change everything.
You had me read that.
It was so good, right?
Oh, so good.
And it's stuff that you can take an hour. You can take an hour to do it, or you can take 10 minutes to do it. It doesn't have to be a long routine. If you're going to, it's exercising and journaling and whatever. But it's if you're only going to have a 10-minute routine, you can exercise for 1 minute, plank for a minute, do jumping jacks for a minute, whatever it is. Get in the movement and adjust it to whatever you're capable of doing. And it made a big difference. So I really did love that. Now I just am trying to feel good and spend my energy on exactly the things that, one, I have to do, and then make sure I have leftover for the other stuff I want to do too.
Mm-hmm. What's yours, Cassie?
Yeah.
I agree with you, the morning and night routine. I think I have a little bit of both. I've always been the kind to get up early.
But crack of dawn?
I do. I always have. And I don't know whether I just would have always been this person, but in high school, I worked at a restaurant. My shift started at 4 a.m., so I did that. When my parents owned a gym, I took the morning shift and taught class at 5 a.m., with all these women that are now my aunts and, grandmas and things like that. And so I've always been up early. But I do think that it has made it to where I know that if I can get myself ready and done and situated, I enjoy then when I wake up Jack, I enjoy him and our time more because I'm not rushing around. I'm not and he is a sloth.
And you have to move at the pace of the child.
Oh, gosh. It is unreal. I've sent pictures before where he'll be up and then I'll come back in and he's literally dead asleep on the floor. Not even in bed. He's literally functioned. I'm getting up. Hey, did you let the dogs out, Mom? Yeah, I did. And then I'll realize he's never come downstairs. He's just dead asleep.
I was that way as a kid.
Laying down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it is
I feel his pain.
I don't know. I'm assuming it's just a level of karma to some degree. Yeah. Because it's not something that I understand.
You have a narcoleptic son.
Yes. And he gets that. It's definitely genetic. Like his dad was that way. And so I see that where I'm like, okay, I'm never going to get him to speed up. So how do I fix myself? I had a coworker one time that her prayer was always either change them or change me. Change them or change me. And it just became like this mantra. And so I realized that I'm not going to change Jack. He's slow as molasses. So I have to get myself ready. I have to do the things. So I do a couple things that go against what a lot of like life coaches and successful people say. Like I do wake up and I get on my phone.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's usually just to check in to make sure, because there always seems to be
There's
family
notifications. Always, yep.
I do, and because
I do it too.
yeah, I mean because of my career choice and the clients that I have, and ensuring that everything that they have is functioning properly, like that's a part of it. So I've gone 6 hours now with maybe not checking in, and there's times that I'll look at, and overnight, like maybe somebody's post didn't go up, or maybe their website is down, or yada yada. So it's things like that I'm like, I instantly kind of like, I don't start working, but I will just kind of make a list of like, all right, here's some fires I need to put out, and that I think helps me prepare. So I know some people would be like, don't get on your phone, but I don't like surprises.
No, and I have anxiety. It's like I see that there are notifications, but I'm supposed to meditate first. I can't. I need to make sure that these are not emergencies.
Yes.
Then I will go do the thing I want to do or whatever.
So Apple has this thing with iOS 14 where you can like put it on whatever.
Yes.
Do
Isn't
not
that
disturb.
interesting?
So I always put it on sleep before I go to sleep. That way when I pick up my phone in the morning to turn on a podcast, I still don't see the notifications. I'm the kind of person that I cannot be on my phone at all until I've done my entire morning routine. But I also don't own a business. So I mean, I do own a business, but it's not a marketing firm where I have employees and multiple clients. I just have a photography business, so I can do that. So, but that has helped me a lot to not be on my phone and to not have anxiety.
Yes. Oh, exactly. Or shutting off to do not disturb because you're actually in work mode. I have gotten better. That was one of the things I wanted to establish this year, is that it is just a free for all in my family feeds. There is 900 family feeds. And so I started putting those on mute. And then I also started shutting off notifications to Facebook messages. And my sister was teasing me because she's the kind that if you do not respond within 14 seconds, she's going to assume that you're dead and your body is in a ditch somewhere.
It's my mom. And she has been staying with us for 3 weeks. And so she'll text and text and text and then send the thumbs up and text. And I'm like, what? She's like, what are we doing for dinner? It's 2:30 p.m. and I was trying to sleep. I don't know. Ask my husband. He's the one that cooks. Come on. You're texting the wrong person.
So,
But it's stuff like that. And it's like you need to respond immediately.
I told my sister that. I was like, I have started doing that. And she said, well, I don't like that.
If it's an emergency, you can call me, sister.
So I told her, I said, well, I just feel like the notifications for things that are not important, that are not work related during the day, are a distraction. Yeah. And I said, they're just controlling my life. And she said, yes, but I want to control your life. I will say that once I kind of have and my brain is able to shut off. So when I see that I have, 4 different things for work that need to be dealt with first thing, I am then able to then say, okay, I'm going to shut that off. I know what I need to do. And then I'm able to exercise, meditate, and kind of do a process of things. But I have shifted in a lot of ways. My night routine, I have kind of spread those things out because, I now meditate at night as opposed to the morning. I think that it helps to just kind of shed everything and have a better, so I don't dream as much.
It's hard to fall asleep with a busy mind.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, and I've been having the wildest dreams.
I had a dream about you. It was a nightmare, and I don't know what it was, but you were in it, and I've been having a lot of nightmares lately. I don't know what it is.
I've been having some weird, and I always look them up. Like the minute I wake up, I always look them up and whatnot, because they are things that they're not from shows, so they're not coming from secondary exposure of something, and I'm like. So it has been very interesting, and I had Reiki done last week with Anastasia Lindsay. And that is a part of like, I think my life routine in general of like doing those types of wellness experiences or practices.
And then it probably dislodges something.
It does. So then you got to kind of sort through all of that.
Pause. Hi, I'm Spencer. I edit these. Nice to meet you. I filmed this episode. I was in it, saw it, I was watching it happen, and I cannot, for the life of me, remember why there's a jar of pickles in the middle of the table. I think I'm being gaslit. This feels like some kind of personal attack, so just understand, alongside me, viewer, there's never an explanation. It's not going to be addressed. You will have no closure. Anyway, here's a commercial.
S&S Heating in Arthur, Illinois has everything you need to turn up the heat this summer. From fireplaces to gas fireplaces and inserts, pellet and wood stoves, outdoor fire pits, and the big green egg. S&S Heating, your one-stop alternative heating shop.
But yeah, I think that the dream thing and trying to process all of those things, it just like my night routine bleeds into my morning routine and whatnot. But I do make coffee to like take with me out the door. Or Jack, let's be honest, most of the time I'm lucky enough that he'll get around and he'll make me coffee, like as a surprise. But I know it really is. He's the best human being. I've never been the kind. I've tried to be more go with the flow when my routine is disrupted. And I think that has really set the tone for changing my day. Now, I know people that when they don't have their routine, their whole day is ruined.
They become monsters.
And then you have to deal with that monster, and there's an entitlement level of like, well, I didn't get to do this, whether it's the coffee or the gym or the whatever it was. And I just don't believe in that.
I think your routine sets you up for success, but I don't think it gets to dictate how you treat other people. Yeah. You get to dictate how you treat other people.
I agree. I really do agree with that. And it's sad to me because especially when you're with these same people over and over again, it isn't fair for everyone to, like, shit happens. You're not gonna, whatever that looks like, and I just don't think that's fair. And I don't think that that's real life, that everyone should be subjected to the bad moods just because something was a little off
kids
kilter.
need to hear this podcast when their routines are disrupted. That is one of the reasons that I probably don't have solid routines. I am so focused on making sure that their stuff stays in order. That's what's important to me, because I can't enjoy myself if they are having bad days.
And kid routines is so important.
Yes, it's very self-serving. I know that if they're off, they are going to make sure I'm off.
Yeah.
so it's the effort that I would spend on like cultivating my, as long as they're set and good, I can enjoy myself.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm also a very spontaneous person in general. So
yeah, last year at Galentine's Day, Andrea, you had brought up the fact that like sometimes it's self-care is just making that cup of tea, and I think that's important for all moms to hear, because I mean, I'm not a mom, so I can't speak much to this, but I know there's probably some moms that are out there like, morning routine, you guys have time for that? But I think your morning routine can just be as simple as a cup of coffee that you make before the kids wake up.
One thing you do for yourself.
Or sitting in the car, like getting in the car and just sitting there just for like a minute or two. It's just, that's your routine. That's your self-care.
And a part of me really hopes that people communicate better about self-care, because if I just know that Jack is the way he is because I tell him what I need and he tells me what he needs. Like we have those conversations, and I don't sugarcoat it, and I don't lie to him, and I don't treat him like he's doesn't understand. So when he picks up on my bad mood, I will never be the kind that's like, I'm fine, everything's fine. Yeah. I will never be the type of adult that lies to him. Like, so in that sense, I will tell him, I woke up with a horrific headache. I'm going to need, I'm going to go get Tylenol, and can you go let the dogs out or something? So we're very much a team in that sense. But I think your whole household should be like that. Yeah. But I think that kids need to know there are times that even us as parents, we need things. Yeah.
Like a fucking break.
Right. Yeah. I need to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
I know Tally asked me, why, Mom? What, are you okay? I'm like, no. Why, Mom? And then I start explaining to her why I'm not okay, because she needs to hear well, I'm not okay. I'm not going to stop and be like, no, just leave me alone. Let me be. But I want you to know why I'm feeling this way. Because if you should ever feel this way, I want to know why you're feeling that way too. So it's a communication thing as well.
And they learn how to communicate their feelings by listening to you communicate yours.
Yes. And we have a whole conversation.
It's a miracle I ended up the way that I am.
I that was going to be my point, that generationally, if you don't see good examples of that, then oftentimes you don't do those things, you know?
My biological mom was definitely the martyr, and she always was the one that, like, something was off or like she had a headache or something, like she would just take it out on me, my dad, my sister, anybody around her. Or if she was having a depression episode or something, it was always taking it out on us. And she would always deny the fact that she had mental health issues. And so as I got older, I started to have those things. And I remember in high school, I'd be like, I think you have depression. I think you have anxiety, because I experience these things and I've been diagnosed. We all know our own kind. Let's be real here. And
she would recognizes like.
Yes. So, and she would project and she would get mad. She would scream at me whenever I would, lovingly call her out on that. Or I was having my own issues and she was like, well, just go into your room. You're fine. Suck it up. Things like that. And I think that, I don't know. It's really just God. I don't know how I ended up the way that I did, but I saw those things that she did, and I realized that there was something wrong in that instead of just conforming to that. My sister conformed to that, but I did not. I saw that there was something wrong with that, and I was like, no, that is not the person I'm going to be. So I think if you are in a situation like that, it takes a lot of self-awareness, and it takes a lot of surrounding yourself with people who are like who you want to be like, and are the moms that you want to be like, and are the friends that you want to be like, things like that. So I think that's honestly, God gave me those people, and God gave me the self-awareness to take myself out of that situation. So all I have to say, watch how you treat your kids when you're going through it.
Yeah. I'm lucky enough to have a partner who tunes into me. And we do that for each other. We tag in. I'm like, oh, daddy needs a timeout. All right, daddy's going to go take a break.
He's
and
hit his
why?
threshold.
Because you are overwhelming him right now. He just needs a minute. So we're going to have a tea party while daddy goes and reads comic books for a minute. Or daddy goes and sits in the dark and the quiet. And sometimes that's what I do too. Or he'll find me and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, shh.
But that's like when your car is the most like zero noise, and you're just sitting there like, okay, there's just nothing.
Just listening to the vents blow warm air on me.
There's not a Wrigley sniffing my butt or licking my ear right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one's saying mom.
No.
It's like,
Mom.
What?
Yeah.
No, come up with something now. Now you have my attention. Entertain me.
Mom, I love you. Like, okay, you manipulated.
I
love
always,
you too.
yeah, I always with
so
Jack.
good.
I always wonder. I'm like, what are you?
Too.
I'm like, what? He gets so mad because I literally will be like, what do you want?
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to tell you I love you. I'm like, no, you don't.
Bullshit.
No.
Bullshit.
No.
There was reasons
What are you
behind
wanting?
that.
What are you wanting to buy?
Why? Why do you love me? What's wrong? What's going on with you? Our thing is, with Talia and I, we both say to each other, what's going on with you? And she goes, what's going on with you? and I like my child for calling me out when I'm in a bad mood, because I tend to like freak out, raise my voice, not in like a crazy, like I'm yelling, but I'm like more like panicking, like, oh my gosh, I gotta get stuff done, and I'm panicking. And she's like, Mom, you're acting crazy. It's like, and I'm glad she calls me out on it, because you know why? I'm so caught up trying to focus on like why I'm just panicking because maybe I need something done, and it's I'm trying to rush it. And she's like, Mom, you're acting crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I'm so sorry.
But you are open to hearing what your child says. There is many people that have raised children. Example that you just had, that it is like, do not question me. Yeah. It is none of your business. Yep. I am fine. You need to go play.
Children are the most
intuitive,
blunt. Yeah. They will not lie to you. Avery, my 6-year-old little sister, if you have the teensiest, tiniest leg hairs and she feels your leg, you need a shave. Why are your legs so hairy? It's always been that way. I don't know if you have just a bunch of yes men in your life. I think you need a child in your life.
I'm sorry, but I'm not shaving my legs.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like 3 weeks later, and she's like, "Why are your legs so hairy?"
I'm growing it out. I'm getting cornrows. So mind your business.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have a man in my life, Avery. I don't have anybody to shave for. You're not special.
Listen, it's a choice. I have not shaved my legs in 4 years, and I am not starting
What?
tomorrow.
Really?
Nope.
See, I can't do that because I just get uncomfy. But
Does
all more
your
power to the
show-
people that can.
Does yours hair show? Are you the
Spencer,
guy?
zoom in on this.
Oh my goodness. I envy you.
But yeah, yours is blonde hair.
I envy you so much.
So I got lucky.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You have great legs, so.
Yeah, so I mean, if I had blonde hair, maybe I wouldn't shave
There
either.
was
You have
one.
dimples.
Yeah.
We all have things
So
that are
yeah,
good for
I
us.
don't do. Yeah, I
Good
feel like
physical
if you don't
features.
want to do
Sarah,
that,
what
don't.
about you? Do you have
No.
to shave too?
I shave regularly, probably once a week.
I shave
That
my
is
armpits
definitely a
every time I
routine.
shower.
I have to shave my armpits.
yeah.
It gets too itchy down there. If
Yeah.
you know. But my senior year, I danced like 6 hours a week every week in high school. And so, you're with the same group of girls all the time. You kind of just become a family and you have no shame with anything. You change in front of these girls. You're talking about all the things. And so my senior year, one of them, she decided from November until recital time, she was not going to shave her legs. And so every week we would check in on her
Good
legs.
for her.
And she did it. She did it. She had a boyfriend at the time, and she was on the competition team, so she was going through all this
Good
stuff.
for
and
her.
She shaved them at recital, but she didn't shave it till then, November to then.
So
I'm
good.
proud
Do you
of
know
her.
what? I remember this has nothing to do with routines at all whatsoever.
Shaving is sort of a routine thing.
It is.
It is a
should-
routine,
okay,
yeah.
you're right. You're right.
It's a
But I
self-care.
do remember it being a routine. I may have already talked about this. I don't remember, but you know how sometimes girls are just not nice, like junior high girls.
No, what do you mean?
And I remember we were little, so I would say maybe 4th grade. Like I don't think it was at an age that it was appropriate. I would deem appropriate that you start shaving. But I remember that there was a particular girl that would, while we were changing for PE, would tell everybody to put their legs up. You had to put your leg up on the bench, and she'd go by and she'd touch your leg. Gross. You're okay. Gross. And touch everybody's leg.
Wait,
And
you changed for PE in 4th
yeah,
grade?
we did.
Yeah.
What kind of hell did you guys live
I know,
in?
it was weird.
Right.
And
They
I
wanted
could,
to make sure we had body issues before we got to high
right.
school.
And it would be in the middle of winter. You didn't get to choose to wear pants. You couldn't wear pants. You always had to wear shorts and this t-shirt. And it became the biggest source of anxiety because obviously I am 99% sure that it was 4th grade. And like I can remember being like, I
think I'd have PTSD walking into that locker room.
So I remember like being a little sneaky the way that I would always like kind of wait to be the last one. And then I'd go to the bathroom first as everybody was changing. So that way then I kind of like waited in the bathroom, took a little bit of time. So that way then like the leg patrol would go away. But I'm like, it just is things like that is just like so fucked up that I'm like, there is some things that are a part of our routines that you're like, are just
Because
like,
of trauma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because of trauma and like societal views.
I used to shave my
know?
legs like every day in high school because I just was so insecure of it.
I still
I've
to this
never
day
done
do.
that.
Every time I'm
Yeah.
in the shower, everything is shaved.
Well, I don't have a proper drain.
No.
So my bathtub doesn't drain till it's the
Then you
water.
have to shave all the time because if you have any kind of buildup, it's going to
That would be really bad.
Now, summertime, I keep up, but
Yeah.
wintertime, it's like...
I'm a little more lax,
you
but
know,
I do-
relax on the legs.
I love a good, nice shaved leg.
Yeah.
I really do. There's
do
nothing
too.
more comfortable than a
Yeah,
smooth
there is.
baby.
You should try letting it grow out.
You see, I thought about that, but guys, you don't want Sasquatch.
I
At your-
promise you.
I am hairy. I'm a hairy
I
person.
promise you,
kid
Steven
not.
would just be thrilled that you're putting your leg on him.
I don't think he'd
Seriously.
appreciate that.
Really?
I don't think he'd appreciate that.
Dustin, I just got lucky because he's not squeamish about anything. Anything feminine, any grooming, nothing.
Now,
He's
I have
so
this
not squeamish about stuff.
Steven is feminine. He's feminine, but there's certain things he's like, ugh. But we're both like this. If I shave my leg, you shave your beard. So there we go. Because I can kiss you when I'm getting poked.
Beards.
I think
I found out that there's a. Well, I think
That
maybe
is
you and I
awful.
talked about this. There is a beard competition.
Yes.
Is there really?
And
yeah.
Cassie and I are going.
I don't know why I haven't
Really?
attended. Oh my god.
Because the guys in the beard competition are like Duck Dynasty guys. Is that what you want? That's the ride you want to take?
I don't know. I don't know.
Hold on, I need proof. I don't believe it.
Some of them are, but some of them just
in
attend.
Decatur?
No, I don't mean it's not in Decatur. It's like a
It's
national.
an international thing.
It's like a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so funny. Jaylee hates my sister. She hates when Ben has facial hair.
I can't imagine him with it.
My mom hates when my dad has facial hair. I think
love
it's the
the
cutest
beard.
thing. I
I
do too.
love
It's
the
the
beard.
cutest
A dad
thing.
beard?
I love it.
I love
I love facial hair.
but it has to be maintained.
Oh.
It cannot be like growing out or
Yeah,
like
and my,
poking.
yeah, like my brother has
Yeah.
almost always had a beard. Like I just
Yeah.
think he looks cuter when he has a beard.
I like
He
the
looks
guy-
like
He's less like a 14-year-old.
Yeah, he does
because
look like- yeah, when
he's got baby face.
Yes.
What's
yeah.
the beard that called? I
Like a
forgot.
goatee?
A goatee.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's sexy.
Oh, that's a soul patch.
No,
That's
that's
a goatee.
No,
that's
that's
a
a soul
soul
patch.
patch.
Goatee is mustache. and beard.
Yeah. I like the.
This is a goatee.
Early 2000 shows
like
lied
the
to me
bear.
then because they all called it a goatee.
No, that's a soul patch.
Yeah.
That's tacky.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody has something.
Everybody has something.
Everybody has something.
Okay, anyway, back to routine.
So routines on shaving.
So I do shave my beard. No, do you guys dermaplane? I think I'm gonna start dermaplaning.
No, because
I heard
what
it's really good.
I have heard that once you start doing it, you can't stop.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
And I don't want to. No.
One more thing to shave.
Yeah, I don't. And I don't. Yeah, not at this stage. I'm like,
I have too much acne. Like I would just hurt myself.
Yeah.
But because I have the skin of a teenager.
Oh wait, are you gonna? Can you do it to yourself?
Yeah.
I've just heard of like the
you
go
can
to
do
a
it to
med spa.
yourself.
Oh, okay,
You just
interesting.
get one of those eyebrow razors and you just
I don't know if I could do it to
scrapes
myself.
off your dead skin.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to make you glow.
I would
produce
just-
collagen.
See, I just scrub the shit out of my face with like a rag or something.
Absolutely.
You gave me a loofah like at Christmas, and it was like a bees wax loofah.
Oh yeah.
And one side's really soft and one side's not. So that's just scrape the shit out of it. I'm like, yeah. But I don't know. That's
I
my
have
biggest
this
fear. I'm like, I don't want to
scrub.
start something.
I have this scrub. It's got a weird name. I can't remember the name, but it's from Switzerland. And you put it on your face. It's really good.
It's the apricot scrub.
No.
No,
You-
I
it's
heard
but It's like a
Scissorland.
match.
I heard Scissorland.
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
There you go.
Scissorland.
Switzerland.
It's always not from around here.
No, not. And you just rub it in. It's like a lotion, so you just rub it in, and it starts peeling the dead skin off your face. It's really good. And you just wash your face off. And you know what? We're going to have to make a date, and you guys have to do this.
I want to do that. I want to do.
You're
We've talked
gonna
about this
see-
before.
yeah.
I want to do the
Your skin
egg
is so
crackle facial thing, where you put it on and then it gets really, really hard. And I want us to do that because you can't talk whenever it happens. It gets so tight.
See, that stuff is not calming and like fun.
You don't think pain's fun?
I think pain is fun, just not on my face because
Yeah.
it's suffocating. And now anywhere else on my body, by all means, hurt me.
Tattoos, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have tattoos, piercings.
By all means.
By all means.
That's her quote that we're putting up.
By all
Content.
means, please hurt me. Please kick the shit out of me.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. Please don't do that. I'm soft.
Let's not
And
do
feed
that.
And feed me.
And feed
And I'll
me.
love you forever.
Give me money.
Money, please.
What is that thing that you just said? Yes, girl? An it girl? A yes girl?
Pick me, girl.
Pick me girl.
Get with it, boomer.
Doesn't that sound a little pick me
me
girl?
girl.
Is pay, just give me money, pay for things.
And
No,
hurt
that
me.
sounds like you want to be a sugar baby.
Oh.
Have you watched that? Lisa Ling's This Is Life. There's a whole episode on sugar babies, and I was like, damn it, I missed the boat because I'm too old now.
Oh, I don't have like actual TV.
I don't know what that is,
It's
but
on
Netflix
yeah.
or something.
I've been too sucked into the world of Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, Chicago PD to watch literally anything else.
We'll add it to your routine to watch the show about sugar babies.
Sometimes watching a show is a routine, and people
Yeah.
say that. I
Yeah,
don't have
to
time for
wind down.
anything. I don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I was talking to Carrie Boone, who's the developer for the Carriage Crossing Senior Livings, and she was talking about how she is obsessed with like the Real Housewives type things. And she said she goes
so good.
and I completely understand now what she said, where she goes, I realize like everything that I see on that TV, I'm like, well, my life is better. Like,
Yep.
because there's
Yep.
nothing, there's so much drama and there's so much just junk. And she's like, okay, I'm okay. Like,
Well,
this
how
is
many
okay.
conversations do I start with you? Or like, do you want to hear some drama that has nothing to do with you?
yeah.
I love it. It's like reality TV, which I enjoy. but it has no bearing on my life.
Right, exactly.
I get to
You can
check out. And there's this level of voyeurism. Like, people are voyeurs, whether they want to admit it or not. That's why we watch that shit.
Yes.
Selling Sunset is my favorite. They just came out with a new season. I need to watch it.
I've almost watched it because I've heard you talk about
It's
it.
so good.
I had to watch Witcher,
Really?
though.
Oh my gosh, there's a really good commercial of this woman, and she's like talking about, she was like, you know, I started watching Witcher and my husband wasn't really that into it, and she's like knitting or crocheting or something, and she's like, this is a cape that, I don't know who, we'll just call him John, whatever the character's name is. Geralt. This is a cape that Geralt wears, and she like has it on, she's like sitting there like wearing it, and then she's like, my husband wasn't into it at first, but he is now, and you just see him in the background, he's not in the shot, in the background running up the stairs, and he's got a wig on.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yes.
And the last time that I was in the river, I overheard everybody that was sitting at the bar. I'm like trying to work, and all they were talking about was Witcher. And
Okay, for those of you who aren't from Decatur or don't drink coffee, the river is a coffee shop.
It's a little bit,
Sometimes
yes.
people think when I say I'm going to the river, they think I mean I'm going
that
to
we're just like
a river.
sitting.
How are you?
Sitting
The
on
bar
dock.
down at the river.
One time,
on the dock,
one time somebody was
talking
like,
about
how
movies.
are you working at a river? How do you have Wi-Fi? And I was
River
like, 'cause
coffee.
it's a
Yeah,
coffee
that's what
shop.
it's
And they're
river
like,
coffee.
I
There's
thought you
so
meant
many
a body of
yeah,
water.
yeah. There's so many conversations. I'm always like, this is so interesting.
That's
See,
a
I wouldn't
good
get
place.
anything done.
Yep.
I had people watch and I had people listen, and
There are times like if I'm there with her, there's times that I'm just like, you tune out things so much better than me, because I will pick up things.
That's because I have ADHD, but I have the ADD strand, and so like background noise helps me. It's really weird, but I have to have background.
I'm good with background noise, but I will be like, hey, did you hear the person behind you?
you know what word sticks out in the conversation? Threesome. Yeah, and then now I've got to hear what they're talking about.
Now you got to know.
Yes.
Oh man, it's always something.
See, I can't hear. I don't know how I tuned it out, but last time we were there, she was like, "Stop! Do you hear that?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, well, this girl's talking about this. And then I just got fired up about her conversation because it was just such a dumb conversation.
Oh,
But,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's when I started listening, and then I turned it back out because it was just idiotic.
Okay,
can't.
that also I would say, because of COVID and knowing that sometimes you don't go into the office and whatnot, that has also been a part of a routine that I think has saved me, is like being able to have places like Panera or the River, coffee, or I go up to Champagne, and having those type of places to be able to work has been a nice self-care routine to be able, because there was, for the longest time, like going into certain businesses was not an option. Being in the carriage crossing, the senior living, those are not an option. Like the exposure that we are just constantly, just to come in there and work is not worth it.
People criticize me for how much money I spend on coffee, but I don't know, it's just such a comfort thing to me. It's such a self-care. And the fact that I can go to this coffee shop and get one experience and go to a different coffee shop and get a completely different experience. I just love it. And I just love different environments for working. It's fun.
Good food, I think, is like that. Like going to a restaurant and having like a mindful eating experience.
Yeah.
As opposed to just grabbing McDonald's and like being in the car. Like Jack and I talk about that. I'm like, I this is so funny and so weird, and I'll tell this. My very first serious boyfriend that I had in high school.
The one that got away.
Oh, no, thank God for unanswered prayers. Jesus Christ. And we never ate at a restaurant. And we always went through drive-through. Everywhere we went, drive-through. And so I don't know whether that is the trauma that started it, but it was always one of those things where you miss an experience of being able to just sit and chit chat and mindful eating and make this a part of a day.
It's
You're
a
gonna
ritual.
eat. It's a ritual. We're gonna eat supper, so why not just take 15 more minutes and just sit down and eat, even if you're gonna eat something fast food.
Yeah. Don't eat it in the car.
Yeah.
Take
It always
home.
seems so weird. But I think about that perspective of the coffee experience, the eating experience. We're in such a rush. I do think that is why, if it can become part of the routine, obviously I know with kids' schedules and whatnot, you're one person's going to soccer practice, another person's going to band practice and all this. But it is nice if there's even once a week that you're able to kind of establish some kind of routine from that.
We've talked a lot about routines, but it's also important to do something that is so outside of your routine every once in a while, just to get a new experience, get a new perspective, create some memories. And I think people that have the established set place that their energy is going, they have more wherewithal to go ahead and be a little spontaneous sometimes. And even if you're like Cassie and you have to plan the spontaneity, like I need to know in advance exactly what spontaneity is so I can decide if I'm ready for it or if I'm wearing heels.
Just tell me about the surprise. I'll act surprised.
I swear to God, I'll be on board. Just don't surprise me. That's something too that we should all be trying to mix into our lives a little bit.
And be open to it. And picking up, I also love hearing about other people's routines because I always think about like, well, I wonder what that person gets out of that and if that's something that I could benefit from.
Absolutely.
There's so many things like that I do now that are solely just because of recommendations of somebody else.
100%. I enjoy my tea a lot more. Yeah. And I am very conscientious. You said something about mindful eating. I will not eat while I'm working. If it's time to have a meal, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to pay attention to what I'm eating and putting into my body. So that's a huge shift for a lot of people.
Little shifts, little tricks. It doesn't have to be this overhaul of like, okay, you have to have 2 hours in order to do all these things. And I think that's why people get discouraged.
Yeah.
That's why they get kind of depressed and discouraged. And they're like, I don't have the luxury of that. But even if it's just little tiny shifts.
Where you can sneak it in.
And if your kids are honest to you or ask you why you're acting crazy, listen to them.
Yeah. Your kids can help you to be a part of that. They deserve to see that too.
They need to.
Yeah. This has been great information for sure. Okay, here we go.
Thanks for listening to us talk about our routines. We'd love to hear what yours are too. What's the game changer for you? Drop in the comments.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I want to hear these things.
This has been another episode of Left at the Door.